Empowered Together would like to advise that the following content includes discussion of sexual assault and abuse. If you're affected by the content of this video, please stop watching and contact the most appropriate service for you that are listed below.
Hi, I'm Joanna.
And I'm Krystal, and we work at an organisation called Empowered Together, where we teach high school students about sexual assault prevention.
Before we start this video, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. I'd also like to put a trigger warning at the start of this video. Today we'll be talking about things that relate to consent and sexual assault. So if you want to stop watching right now, pause, check in with yourself before you continue watching this video. We'll also be looking through scenes of pop culture that may be a bit uncomfortable. So if you need any help or resources, they'll be linked below.
Okay, so today we're talking about what consent looks and sounds like, and we're going to see some good and bad representation we have in movies and TV today. But to jump right in, let's talk about consent. How would you say ask for it without it being awkward or maybe ruining the mood?
I actually think it's quite easy. It can be as simple as, can I touch you? Does that feel good? Can we try this out?
Awesome. Okay, so it's all about being maybe straightforward and clear. So something like, do you want to take this upstairs? Which we see a lot in movies, isn't the best way to gauge interest.
Yeah, I think it's a bit vague because it can mean a lot of different things to different people. Some people might think that means I just want to go chat upstairs. It might mean kissing, it might mean more. So you've got to be really specific.
So for consent to count, it has to be explicitly said. So sending an eggplant emoji, for example, possibly wouldn't count as consent. Awesome. So now that we've talked about what consent looks and sounds like, and we know a bit more about it, let's see how consent translates to how we see forms of sex being initiated in pop culture today. Let's start with an example.
There you are.
Hey.
I've been looking all over for you.
Just got tired of everything down there.
Are we allowed to be up here? I mean, Kyle was kind of discouraging it.
When you have a party, you get what you get.
Yeah, I guess. Sad boy. What's wrong? You were looking forward to this party. What happened?
Nothing.
Something did. Come on, tell me. You're not tired of me, are you? That's a pretty good answer. Just wait. Just wait. Jess.
Jeez.
Not here, not now.
Fine.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing is wrong with me.
Someone could walk in that door.
And Santa Claus could come down the chimney. Whatever.
You did not think that it was going to happen like this, did
I
you?
don't know what I think anymore.
Jess.
Rory, stop! Just stop! I did not invite you up here. You came up here on your own.
I don't know what I did.
You didn't do anything. Rory.
So this scene was from Gilmore Girls. Jess got angry at Rory for not wanting to have sex with him at a friend's party.
Yeah, I think this scene was really problematic in ways that I maybe didn't fully notice when I was younger. Jess continuing to kiss Rory after she's withdrawn consent is sexual assault. And the fact that he's continuing to pressure her into kissing him means that she can't really give enthusiastic consent anyway.
What I think was really problematic was that he said, well, you came up here, which really kind of plays into the narrative that women are teasers or prudes, or she knew what she was doing when she came up here. It was kind of very vague about what was expected. She was just looking for him. She couldn't find him around the party. So of course she kind of checked upstairs, but he thought immediately as soon as they started kissing and because they're girlfriend and boyfriend, that it was expected to go further.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what really annoyed me about this scene is that at the end, he kind of acknowledges like, it wasn't your fault, Rory. And it does within the scene seem to kind of redeem him a little bit. And I think that's really problematic. And it stems from this kind of idea in society of men like always wanting sex or being a sexual aggressor and not being able to control themselves. And I think that's a really problematic stereotype, both for like young boys who are still developing and also within society, as it partially contributes to rape culture by alleviating some of the blame off of the aggressor.
I think it's also really important to know that even if you're kissing a partner, that consent is not always given. Consent has to be freely given, and it's not assumed just because it's your partner. You need to ask consent every single time, and for all different kinds of sexual acts. This was something that they'd never engaged with before, and it was really sad to see that he kind of just assumed that she would sleep with him at a friend's party while other people were downstairs.
Yeah. Let's go into a next example, hopefully with maybe some better practices of consent.
That's good, because like even if I didn't write it, it's still how I feel about you. Beautiful, Margie.
Wow, he's really good at this. How is he so good at this? And how does he know how to do that so easily?
How do you think? You know what else he's really good at? I don't want to have sex with you right now.
That's all right. I wasn't trying to have sex with you right now.
I want to put it out there.
Okay.
In case.
Give me some credit, Covey. I don't want to rush you. Especially not in a parked car in front of your house.
So this last scene was from To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and it's with Peter and Lara Jean. I think this was a really great contrast to the last scene we watched. It was really great to see Peter be both in terms of his body language, understanding Lara Jean, and in terms of communication. They both really understood where each other was at and understood immediately when things were not going well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the communication is such a key issue in this scene because it's really fantastic, both having Lara Jean actually bring up the issue of saying just in case and to put it out there, and then them having a really calm and reasonable conversation between each other.
Yeah, it didn't have to be angry or aggressive, and it wasn't like Peter was taking it as a rejection. He immediately backed off when he knew things weren't going well, and he wanted to talk, and he had a reassuring, comforting, pat on the arm with her to show her that it was a good conversation, and it was a conversation they needed to have, and that it wasn't actually a rejection, it was checking in, which I think is really important with consent. As much as you can give consent at one point in time, consent is reversible, and you constantly need to check in, especially with a partner. You need to make sure they're still having a good time and it's going where exactly you both want it to go.
Yeah, absolutely. They do such a good example. They show that really, really well in the scene of the importance of checking in during sexual activity, asking things like, do you like this? Are you comfortable with me doing this? Or even just Lara Jean, the way she really clearly established her boundaries, I thought was really, really important.
Yeah, that was really great, and Peter really was respectful of that, and what more can you ask for?
Yeah. Let's head on through to our next example and see how we go.
Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Would you please stop calling me that?
Sure, Leia.
You make it so difficult sometimes.
I do, I really do. You could be a little nicer, though. Come on, admit it, sometimes you think I'm all right.
Occasionally, maybe. When you aren't acting like a scoundrel.
Scoundrel? Scoundrel? I like the sound of that.
Stop that.
Stop what?
Stop that. My hands are dirty.
My hands are dirty, too. What are you afraid of?
Afraid?
You're trembling.
I'm not trembling.
You like me because I'm a scoundrel. There aren't enough scoundrels in your life.
I happen to like nice men.
I'm a nice man.
Very nice.
Sir, I've isolated the reverse power flux coupling.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're perfectly welcome, sir.
That was a scene from Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. It had quite a lot of problems in it, and that's kind of already ignoring the broader representation problems in Star Wars. Like in the original trilogy, George Lucas's ideal world having like 8 women in it, only 3 of which speak or aren't sex slaves. So
yeah, this scene was really uncomfortable to watch because it was so obvious that Leia was not enjoying it. Like at the start was already like, don't touch me, like with body language and words, and everything about it was just very like uncomfortable to watch.
yeah, and I think what was especially problematic to me about it was that they still framed it as a really romantic scene. Like Leia explicitly says, don't touch me, I don't want you to kiss me, and he grabs her and does it anyway, and then they play like romantic music in the background. Like, oh, she said no, but she still kind of kissed him back, and it feeds into this really sexist stereotype of women like not really knowing what they want. This like derogatory view of, no, men know what women want. And it's men kissing them without their consent, apparently. And it really feeds into the societal issues of like discriminating against women, and also into rape culture things of like, she said she didn't want it, but I know she did.
And he kept like putting his hands on her and like using force. And it was like, everything she was saying and doing was not giving like the vibe that she was into it and she wanted to progress further. And then all of a sudden they're kissing. You're like, what leading up to this was saying, yeah, she wants to kiss you.
Yeah, and then it continues as a romantic storyline.
Ick, let's move on from this one.
Yeah.
Look right here. Okay, just follow me, okay? We're gonna step to the right, 7, 8, step, drop, step, drop, step, drop. Make it 2 movements, step, then drop. Kind of. Just keep doing it. All right, slow it down, slow it down. Do you mind? Take it from the top. 7, 8, step, drop. Nice, step, drop it, feel that? Step, drop, it's good. Step, drop, more power in your arms. Really bring it to you. Step, drop, step, drop, step, drop. That's good, step, drop. Bring it to you. From out to your shoulder. There we go, nice. Step, drop, step, drop. We're gonna ball change, all right? Drop, ball, change. Okay, step, drop, that's good. Step, drop, back the other way, step, drop, and step. Oh.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
May I read about acupressure for your knee injury, and these points were recommended.
Thanks.
Thank you for the dance lesson.
Okay, that was a scene from Work It with Quinn practicing dancing and Jake helping her, asking, do you mind, before he touches her hips to guide her.
I think this was a really good contrast to the last scene because we don't often talk about consent when it comes to just touching, but this was really like a beautiful way of showing that consent isn't just like this just mandatory. Of course it's mandatory, but it was also adding to the like vibe of it. This one in comparison, it just felt more romantic, it felt more sexual, and it felt really respectful that he was asking before he touched her and was like moving her. As much as it's a part of dance practice, it felt different, and especially because there was that romantic element, it felt like a really good way to like jump in, or like not jump in, but like step in, dip your toe in the water, see how things are going, and check in and see as like kind of things progress.
Yeah, it was a very strong contrast to the previous Star Wars scene we watched, and it was also just something that was really engaging to watch, and I was like very enthralled by Jake just being like polite and kind.
And this time the romantic music actually added to the romantic vibe and wasn't just a stark contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's wrap up for the day. So today we've talked about what consent looks and sounds like, and we've seen some good and bad representation in some TV and movies.
Take from the good examples things like asking, checking in if you're not sure, and if your partner explicitly says, I don't want to have sex right now, listening, respecting, and having a conversation about it.
And make sure to share this video around to your friends. A really important part of sexual assault prevention is staying aware and also looking out for others, so send it around.
Remember to like, comment and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram.
Yep, and drop a comment down below if you have any other examples of consent in media and TV shows, and maybe next time we can react to it.
That'd be great. See ya.
Bye.